Did you hear when that guy said he deleted social media because he saw the top of Mount Everest? He said he saw someone post from the top of Mount Everest, and that alone made him delete Instagram.
Damn.
He felt like he didn't deserve to witness that view. He didn't climb it, he didn't train for it, he didn't struggle up that mountain. Yet, there he was, consuming a once-in-a-lifetime moment from the comfort of his phone. And when I heard that, I was like, wait, that's literally what we're doing. Every single day, we're scrolling past someone else's Mount Everest. Their biggest achievements, their proudest moments, their answered prayers. We're seeing the trips, the food, the relationships, the business win, the milestones, the aesthetics, the celebrations. And without even realizing it, we start measuring our real life against their curated peak. You start thinking, should I be further? Why doesn't my life look like that? Am I behind? I know I catch myself doing this, especially...
Comparison is a thief of joy. It happens every day. You know, you're constantly feeling like you're behind because you're looking at someone else, right? You could be 31 years old and see someone achieve something that you've been striving for the last 5 years, and they're only 21, and it makes you feel bad. You know, that's why so many people are starting to unplug. But she's cooking. Let her cook. Let me keep cooking.
In business, it's so easy to see someone else's number or growth and immediately compare it to where you are, and it can shift your whole mood. You go from grateful to questioning yourself in seconds. The truth is, social media isn't evil. It's opened doors for so many of us. It's created opportunities, connection, income. But comparison, that's where it gets dangerous, because you're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You don't see the sacrifices, the stress, the late nights, the failures before the win. So I really believe the only way to protect your peace is to be stricter with your mental boundaries. Catch the comparison when it starts. Redirect the thought. Remind yourself that you're building your own mountain. And if you want that view one day, you absolutely can have it. You just have to climb it for yourself. But don't let someone else's summit make you feel small about your starting point. Is seeing someone else's accomplishments really enough to make you delete social media?
Oh my goodness, she touched on so many things right there. So many things. Like, for instance, let's take a sports game, right? Let's say your favorite team is playing a team that has your favorite player, and for whatever reason, you can't watch that game, right? It could be a birthday party, you could have work, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? So what do? The next day, you check the highlights out. You watch Sports Center, or you go online at work. Now think about it. The game, let's use baseball, right? Let's say you're a Dodgers fan. The Dodgers were playing the Blue Jays, and you know, the highlights when you check online are 11 minutes. The recap is 11 minutes long, all right? Now that baseball game was 2.5 hours, 3 hours. So what do you think that they put in that highlight reel? They put a condensed version of the game, a concise display of all the highlights. They put the big strikeouts, they put the big home runs, they put, he's out of there, he's safe at third, or he stole the base. You know, they put the interesting things, and that's exactly what social media is. It is a glorified highlight reel. Ladies, I have a question. Tell me in the chat, tell me in the comment section if I'm wrong. If you're out with your girls, right? And, you know, you're looking good. You put that shit on. You feel me? So you give the phone to your girl and you say, take a picture of me. Flick me up real quick. She gonna flick you up. So what does she do? You and her on the same wavelength. So she's not going to take one picture and hand you back the phone. Come on now. You and I both know that's not the case. She's going to take like 60 pictures of you. And then you're going to look over them in the Uber, and whichever one you like, you're going to upload it. Tell me I'm wrong. If you know, you know. Right? So what that is it's taking the best out of the bunch and it's presenting it to the world. So oftentimes when people go on social media and they see, oh my God, they're in Japan. Damn, I could barely pay for my Netflix. You see what I'm saying? And it makes you feel terrible, but it's the highlight reel, and you don't know the debt or the sacrifices that they're going through or the personal struggles that they have to portray this lifestyle online. But I don't know. I really thought she cooked there. Hold on. Let's look at one more.
I deleted social media for an entire year, and it changed my life forever. And I don't just mean like on a minuscule level, like I'm happier, I'm healthier. Like it changed my life so much that before I did this, I was 17 years old. I just graduated high school. I didn't want to go to college because I didn't want to go into debt. So I was just working a bunch of little jobs, probably making $2,000 per month, to then a year later hitting my first $10,000 profit month after I taught myself how to make money online. And this isn't about my entrepreneurial journey. This is strictly about how deleting social media for an entire year changed my life. The first way is that I was able to deprogram myself. Yes, that sounds a little bit woo-woo, but just listen, okay? You can't even possibly imagine how much social media is programming people to stay broke and struggling and have a victim mentality and feel like they're incapable of ever living a better life. I was one of those people. I'd been on medication for anxiety and depression for almost 5 years at the time. I thought
Real quick, you like shout out to her. Go, y'all can see that. Go check her page out, because what she just said is so key. Like, I can't just like skim over that, glaze over that. It's like a victim mentality, but the thing that triggered me to just jump in here real quick is like, it's like a group think, right? It's like, oh, our generation doesn't have access to this. Oh, we don't have access to that. And look, there's some grounds to it. I agree. Let's be honest. A house 30 years ago cost $60,000. Do I even need to elaborate? That is not the case today. I know it, you know it, we all know it, right? So there's certain things that hinder our generation, this generation, but it's possible to attain it, right? This woman just mentioned that she made $10,000 in a month. Now, is that everybody's scenario? Is it possible for everyone? Absolutely. But is it probable to happen in 2 months? No, but it's something that you can work towards. And it seems like she's about to touch on anxiety, depression, and things of that nature. And I'm curious about what she's going to say. But one thing in particular that can keep you away from drifting into anxiety, despair, and depression is having something to look forward to. Something as simple as setting a goal. Right? It's like, if you have a date on Friday, you're looking forward to it on Tuesday, right? And if you have a goal, whether it's for the end of the year or in 6 months, like if you live your year in quarters and you just break it down, be like, all right, it's not, the year starts January, now it's April, all right, the first quarter is done. How far have I gotten? Even if you just got like one step down the ladder or up the ladder, so to speak, that's progress. All right, keep cooking.
The world was working against me. I thought I fit into these statistics of people who could never accomplish their goals or live a better life. And the second I deleted social media and I started sitting with my beliefs and started questioning things and reading books and stuff like that, I realized how much of what I was currently believing was literally indoctrination. I was not a victim. I was not a statistic. I was not the only person in the world who could not make a better life for themselves. I only believed that because that was the entirety of what I consumed online. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't like I was intentionally watching sob stories online. But the victim mentality is everywhere and it's unavoidable online. As you start to consume content like this constantly, it becomes normalized in your brain. You start to think, well, all these other people who are dealing with things just like me say they're victims too, that they can't accomplish better, that the world is working against them. So obviously me too. And the stuff that you're consuming and seeing repeatedly online become repeated thoughts within yourself, which become beliefs, which become your identity, which becomes your reality. So you literally turn yourself into a victim and a walking statistic because your brain does not know how to differentiate what you're seeing online constantly from your real reality. So like I said, the first thing that happened was I started to unlearn that. And it wasn't something I was doing consciously, but because I wasn't constantly consuming content from people complaining about their circumstances, how much they struggle, how big of victims they are, I stopped thinking that way. The second thing that happened was I started to develop something called delayed gratification. This is essentially you being able to desensitize yourself from immediate gratification and immediate results and work towards something long lasting. Knowing that eventually will compound based off what you're doing right now. When you were constantly scrolling on social media and bouncing between different apps, you're getting hit with so much dopamine. So your brain literally starts to operate based off pleasure and instant gratification, which basically means you can't do anything hard. You can't focus, you can't stay disciplined, you can't keep yourself free from distraction. You have no choice in what you do. You're literally controlled by your flesh. Besides just deleting social media, I wasn't watching YouTube or consuming any sort of entertainment, Netflix, anything. So I was completely free from distraction. And this single-handedly was the sole reason why I was able to work towards trying to make money online for 6 months.
Like, in a world full of distractions, you have to set limits for yourself, right? And it's almost like it's the only way, because as she just said, become a victim of your flesh, right? Your brain is not going to tell you to get up and make something happen. You have to tell your brain to get up and make something happen, and then in turn, you will get up and make it happen. Right? Your brain is always going to choose the easiest thing, right? Always. It's kind of like Google Maps. Like, if Google Maps says you can get there faster this way, then you're going to go that way. But your brain is not Google Maps. Your brain is going to tell you the easiest way, but not the best thing to do for you in the long term, just for the short term, in the moment, right? And in the moment, we have distractions. Like, even if you're watching Netflix, and your phone makes a sound, you're going to grab your phone and you're going to check it. The best thing to do, like, for instance, kind of off topic, right? But if you're trying to improve your attention span, like, let's just say on average, a movie is an hour and a half. If you can't watch a movie for an hour and a half without checking your phone, you got to put some work in, because that's supposed to be the norm, right? And if it takes leaving your phone, like if you're in the living room, leave your phone in the bedroom, put it on silent or whatever, and then watch the movie until, in its entirety, until it's over. If your phone is on the coffee table, on the couch, or if you're sleeping with it next to your pillow, you're going to be constantly distracted, right? Slightly off topic, but man, she's cooking as well.
About seeing a single result, because now my brain was no longer addicted to instant results. The other thing was me having better discipline. This goes hand in hand with delayed gratification. I had a schedule, I stuck to it, I got my stuff done. I was working a 9 to 5 during the day, and I came home every single day for the next 4 hours and worked on my business. I was extremely disciplined. I was finishing books every single month. I was so free from distraction that I had no other choice but to just be focused on my goals. The fourth thing that happened, I'm just going to keep it at 4 for this video, is I stopped thinking about myself so much. I was not constantly comparing myself to other girls. I wasn't constantly insecure. I wasn't constantly in my head about people judging me, and it made it so much easier to take bold action on my goals. I was so much more courageous. And thinking back, it's because I lacked a level of awareness that keeps most people paralyzed, because you're too aware of everything in the world that's happening that you just feel scared and anxious. I was not aware of what they were doing, saying. I wasn't aware of anybody possibly judging me. I was in my own world, so the only thing that I was aware of were my own thoughts. And this led to me, like I said, completely changing my life in 1 year. Literally all it took was 1 year. It was so crazy how much my life drastically changed. But also becoming so much happier, so much less anxious. I literally got off my anxiety medication and depression medication at the end of this year. And overall, just feeling a level of peace in my life that I'd never experienced before. And ever since then, every single time my life starts to suck again, I realize it's because I've been on my phone way too much, engaging in too much social media. So if you want to change your life, I'm telling you, delete it for an entire year. You'll become a completely different person. I deleted social media.
So you see, the thing that she just mentioned right there at the end is the part that it kind of ties exactly right into what we mentioned earlier about comparison is a thief of joy. If you have no idea what she's doing and what he's doing, then you don't have the ability to compare yourself to what he or she is doing. So you can focus on yourself, right? Think about it. No one else is going to focus on you. No one's going to come up to you and pick you up off the couch and be like, hey, let's go do 4 sets of 10. Come on. Like, you have to get up and do it. And it's like, if you see everybody else, active, whether it doesn't matter what it is, it could be starting a business, it could be having a beach day, they could be in Bali for a week. Like, if you don't know that they're there, then it can affect you mentally. And man, she was cooking as well. Check her out as well. Check her out as well. There she go right there. Hold on. Let's check out one more actually. I was gonna stop, but let's see if she's gonna cook as well.
I quit social media 4 years ago, and it completely changed my life. For background, I deleted everything,
4
Instagram,
years.
Twitter, everything, back in the beginning of 2021. It is now 2025, and I just started TikTok like a month ago, and this is my only social media I have now. Those 4 years
That's
offline
fair.
taught me everything I didn't know I needed. The first thing that I noticed is that I just became my most authentic self. You're just a much more interesting person because you're not consuming what other people are wearing, what they're thinking, what they're saying. And you just have space for your own thoughts. You have space for learning new hobbies, reading new books, reading articles. So you just become much more interesting because you're present in your actual self. You're not in such a huge influencing bubble. You're influenced by the world and the people around you in your reality, in your day-to-day life. But you're not influenced by like consumer trends, by social media trends. It's just really refreshing because like the person that you're becoming is who you're meant to be. And then eventually when you're there, you just like can settle into yourself. It's a really amazing experience. Number 2 is that you suddenly have so much time. You didn't even know how much time and how many things you can accomplish in a single day. It's just so productive and it's so freeing. Life just stops to
Think about it for a second. How can you find yourself if you're constantly comparing yourself to others? Right? If you're offline and you're outside, look where she is. I'm not sure exactly where she is. She looks like she's in nature at a park, having a moment on a bench. She could be in a backyard, but she's outside. She's enjoying life. She's like, if you go get a coffee, go for a walk, tea, and you just by yourself, you don't even need a companion. Get out of the house, go for a walk, look at nature, appreciate what's around you, and then figure out who you are. Because I promise you, being stuck on social media, constantly looking at others, male, female, doesn't matter. You're going to try to emulate them and become them. Like, there's a saying, I'm going to butcher it, but it's like, it's something to the effect of, just be yourself because everyone else is taken, right? Just be yourself. And then people that are like-minded will gravitate towards you, right? It's like energy. But man, she made a really good point right there.
disappearing into a scroll. My days would feel longer. I would feel more fulfilled. I would fill it with so much stuff, learning, reflecting, moving. I was actually doing things and I was building a life instead of just watching one go by
Yes.
and like looking up
Ooh.
from my phone and seeing that 4 hours had passed. And I think that also in turn is what makes you a much more interesting person, is suddenly you have all this time to do so many other things and to read and to fill your mind with other thoughts. So those two kind of go hand in hand. Number 3, this is one of the best things that happened when I deleted social media, was that I just stopped comparing myself. I just think it's a natural tendency for humans to compare. You're always going to compare value A to value B. That's just a natural human tendency. You don't need to try and shut it down completely, but it's not normal for us to have a window into everyone's lives at all times. I think that has broken our brains a little bit. When I was offline, I only knew what was happening to me and the people around me, and I think that that's the way it's always been, and it felt right. It felt natural. I was really able to break that toxic mentality of just always feeling behind and comparing myself to everyone. And now that I have TikTok, it's kind of come back, but when I was completely offline, I didn't really feel that. Number 4, it was also something life-changing that I noticed, was that I had to learn to sit with my emotions. You can't inoculate yourself with dopamine hits and avoid the painful emotions anymore with social media. You have to learn to sit in the discomfort. You have to learn to face yourself and learn to sit with your difficult emotions. It wasn't.
I agree 100%. Like, in other words, like, if I had to summarize what I just heard, just be introspective. Introspection is so key, right? Because, for instance, if you're the type of person who you don't like it when people check you on your bullshit, check yourself. Check yourself. Be like, you know what? I probably shouldn't have did that, or I probably shouldn't have said that. Or, you know what? I was wrong for that. You know what? He might or she might feel a way about that. Let me approach her and let me let her know that I didn't mean it and my intentions were good. Like, you have to get rid of the ego thing that just makes you feel holier than thou. And you know what I mean? You just have to check yourself. Sit with your emotions. Why do I feel like this? I don't want to feel like this anymore. What can I do so I don't feel like this anymore? You don't have to turn to drugs. You don't have to turn to alcohol. Sit with your thoughts and then get it out, whether it's through somebody who you trust and just talk to them, or a journal. Get it off your chest. It's so healthy. And so many people just keep it bottled inside, and they start lying, and they start, creating new realities, and everybody else knows what the reality is. So just sit with your thoughts, process your emotions, and get healthy. And ultimately, if you have to, speak to someone. It's so important. And it's like all 3 of them are cooking. Shout out to all these women, man. Shout out to all these intelligent ladies giving solid information for the youth, for the adults, for everyone. I think this is amazing.
Able to escape my feelings anymore, and that really changed everything. It made me stronger, it made me more emotionally resilient, and I was able to gain peace in my own head. Like, my brain just felt like green. It was a forest of peace. It was amazing. Number 5 is your relationships get better. When you're grounded in reality, you just show up differently, and people can feel that. You're more present, you listen better. You're just so in the present that you really see people when you're with them, and they can feel that. And you feel that with yourself. You feel so present with yourself. And you cherish them more because you just cherish your day-to-day life. You cherish the people in your life because this is your reality. This is what you have. And you know what's crazy is, like, I remember how impossible at the time it felt to delete Instagram. Like, what if I didn't know about other people's lives and things like that? And once you do it, you're like, who are they to you? The only people who matter are in your day-to-day life. It's crazy to see once you delete it how disillusioned you can be that, oh, this really is nothing. It means nothing. And at the time, it felt really important. It was a big part of my life.
Wow.
I was on my phone a lot. And now it's just not a part of my reality at all. Honestly, the biggest thing about deleting my social media was knowing that I can live without it. At the time, I felt like I couldn't live without it, and now I know that I can, and I'm better for it. Honestly, now that I'm on TikTok for the past month and a half, I can see the way it's kind of getting me back in that loop, and that's not my fault. It's engineered to be that way. It's very calculated, but even though it might not be our fault what our digital environment is and how we evolve with it, it is our responsibility to learn how to navigate it ourselves and for our day-to-day lives. If quitting is something that you're considering, I highly recommend it. Even if it's just for a little bit, you're just going to see yourself change only in positive ways. Social media can be positive in a lot of ways, but it can be very, very negative in a lot of ways. And even when you take that step back, when you take a little break or a long break like I did, you're able to discern more how you can use it effectively in
Discernment.
your life. I promise it'll only be positive. Like, you will only change for the better. And I feel like deleting it when I was young like that has kind of changed my trajectory for the rest of my life and how I'm going to use social media. It's just so peaceful out here.
Amazing. Bravo. Hold on. Hopefully the mic doesn't pick. Listen, she cooked. like, I had to let that play in its entirety. Hopefully it wasn't too long for y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, what she just said, go check her out. I'm pretty sure you guys can see right there in the bottom left. Please go check her out. The information is phenomenal. It is insightful, and it presents so much value. Peace of mind is key, because let's be real, there are people out there that are extremely successful, and it's credited to social media, right? And part of that success is obviously financial. And whether it's hundreds of thousands or millions, there are people that have these amounts and they're miserable, right? What is it to have hundreds of thousands of dollars in your account? Sure, you're in a place of affluence, but mentally you're in disarray. Like, your relationships are transactional. You know, even your friend group, you might have people that are around you just because you got a couple dollars, right? They don't care much for you, but when you go out for dinner, you're picking up the bill because you got it. You dig what I'm saying? But it's like, if you're not going out, or if it has nothing to do with social status or bread, you know what I mean? They don't really want to have nothing to do with you. So a lot of people are, I don't want to say they're losing it, but they're starting to realize, like, they're looking around their circle like, hold on, do they really rock with me? Or are they just here for the good times, or for the perks? You know what I mean? And going without it, even if it's for 30 days, bro, even if it's for 30 days, sis, like, just try it, check it out, and see how you feel. Get out in nature, and I'm not saying cut folks off. See if they're really down for you, you know, if they want to listen to you. Because it's better to, like, she said something at the very end there, right? And I'm going to paraphrase it. She said something like, I'm making these decisions now, and it's going to put me on a better trajectory and a path for my future, right? And it's like, if your circle is inauthentic, right, for lack of a better word, right, isn't it better that you find that out when you're young, rather than have this 10, 15, 20-year friendship, and then all of a sudden you find out that they don't really rock with you for real? You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's a other saying where somebody said, like, they're not listening to you because you're not meant to talk to them. I hope that's how it goes, because when I first heard it, it was a bar. But it's like, just understand that someone else is going to listen to you, right? You're not going to be alone. Someone else is going to find you interesting. You're going to find like-minded people that think you're dope. So just get out there, get off social media, stop comparing to yourself, and be the best version of you, because everyone else is taken. If you've made it this far, please drop a like in the video. It lets me know that you guys appreciate this type of video. It's actually the first time I've done this type of video. I really enjoy it, and let me know if you guys enjoy it too, and perhaps there'll be more of these to come, because I kind of really like these discussions, and we'll see where it goes. I appreciate y'all. Peace.